In chapter 1008, we had Kid say about Big Mom and Kaido, with two of them standing side by side. It looks like we're in hell. Of course, he saw Big Mom. They're in full transformation. Kaido's in his hybrid form. And Luffy's line, that suits me fine. I've been to hell and back a few times already. This is home territory. The epicness of that line, I think, is going overlooked. Like, Luffy's telling Kaido and Big Mom, I don't care if it looks like we're in hell. Personally, I've been to hell and back a few times already. So this is home territory. So then that got me to thinking, when in Luffy's career has he actually been to hell and back? Is Luffy just capping for the gram? Is Luffy just saying this stuff? Or in Luffy's pirate career, short but very accomplished, has he really been to hell and back? We'll talk about it. Let's talk about 5 times our guy, Monkey D. Luffy, has been, figuratively, to hell and back. Maybe even literally. We'll get there. But first, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I thought about making a hell and back joke for you guys to subscribe, but I saw how Lil Nas X got canceled after he made his purgatory video. So let's keep this a bit clean and just sub and like, man. But anyway, let's talk about Luffy going to hell and back. The first time I would say Luffy went to hell and back, you could definitely use the ASL flashback with everything with Blue Jam and the fires in Great Terminal, where that could be viewed as a hell, where everything that transpired in Great Terminal, the loss of Sabo, and just how difficult it was for him growing up with Garp just throwing him into the jungle and he had to get stronger there. For a kid, that is hell. Right? Similar to Doflamingo and everything he went through. So you could classify that. So technically at 5, I have Crocodile defeating Luffy 3 times and Luffy's upbringing. Again, from Garp, from Great Terminal, the fire, and the loss of Sabo. For a kid, that's a lot to deal with. So Luffy has started experiencing this from a young age. To Crocodile and how he just folded Luffy every single time. We thought he was done. Nico Robin had to save him. A lot of times the plot had to come into play, but he eventually overcame Crocodile after he became Warder Luffy and other things. But yeah, those interactions, that's number 5 for me. 4, I would say Sabaody, because in Sabaody, not the return of Sabaody, but the first time they were there, Luffy experienced hell right before his very eyes, meaning Luffy had to come to terms with his own weakness. At that point, Luffy couldn't protect his crew from an admiral in Kizaru, and he also couldn't protect them from a Shichibukai in Kuma. Oda made sure to strategically have Luffy face the Shichibukai that he could defeat, because back then he's not beating Mihawk, Boa, other than the Boa loving him thing, or Kuma. And we saw everything he had to do to defeat Moria, but he couldn't protect his crew. And right before his very eyes, he had to come to terms with his own weakness, and he saw his crew, as far as he felt, die in front of him. And that is the worst pain Luffy could suffer, because his crew at that point, they were his family. So everything he had to see and experience in that time, I think based on what Luffy stands for, that's as close to hell as you can get. So far, I mean, at that point in the story. So 3 and 2 were in the same arc. Where 3 is literally going to Impel Down, because there were levels to Impel Down, right? You remember the Crimson Hell, and that's the first level. We had level 2, the Wild Beast Hell. That's where you had a Basilisk, the Sphinx, and various beasts that were kept in this hell. Level 3 is a Starvation Hell, and that's where Bentham was being kept. That's where prisoners were given little food and water as possible to keep them in a near-death state. Level 4 was the Blazing Hell, the Inferno Hell, and that's where they had a pool, and that was filled with boiling blood, heated by rage and fire, and that made this level blazing hot. That's why it was called Blazing Hell or Inferno Hell. Level 5 was Freezing Hell. And of course, it's literal. Giant freezer. That's where the wolves were, all that stuff that Luffy interacted with. So for the most part, Luffy went to Impel Down and he experienced different levels of hell down there. So for him, you can understand it was like, you know, I've been to hell and back, quite literally, because that's what Impel Down was considered, at least for pirates or prisoners. And we can't forget level 6. Eternal Hell. And that's the lowest level of Impel Down. Ace was being kept here before his execution. Jinbei was here. Crocodile. So this was the worst of the worst. And so that's why I have Impel Down and what he experienced there as 3. 2 is Impel Down as well, but I think it's specifically his experience after fighting Magellan, where Ivankov had to put him through surgery essentially to save his life with the hormones. And of course, Ivankov said it's based on Luffy's will if he was going to pull through, but he had to do everything in his power to survive. And I think that's another time Luffy had experienced hell. So that's why 3 and 2 are kind of the same thing, both in Impel Down, but that experience specifically where Luffy almost died after fighting Magellan, you have to have that up there. Number 1 where Luffy's been to hell, and it's very traumatic, is Marineford post Marineford, right? Because Luffy, you know, he had a lot of great things that happened to him in Marineford, but again, in Marineford, a lot of the things he experienced didn't bow down, right? Where he had the hormones and the aid of Ivankov, that wore off in Marineford. He had to get, you know, boosted again. That wore off. He had to go after Vivicar. That's how Ace died. He saw his brother die right in front of him. And of course, there's a joy of Ace escaping and then seeing it just taken away from you just that quickly. That caused him to go into a mental breakdown. And of course, I say post Marineford as well, because we saw how Luffy was losing his mind when Jinbei went to look after him. To Luffy, he had lost his everything. He had lost his big brother, and this is obviously after losing Sabo. So for him, he had lost everything. And of course, in that moment, he came to the realization that he had his friends, which is an amazing moment, but I think it's also amplified by the Garp and Dadan moment. But Garp went back, and of course, Dadan started swinging on him. And then Makino tried to say, you know, no one is going through more than Garp right now. And then Dadan had to remind Makino, no, the person who's going through the worst right now is Luffy. And I think that's the lowest Luffy has ever been, losing Ace and everything that happened at Marineford, because he knew he was fighting a losing battle, but he gained so much momentum, and through the help of people that he knew and friends he made along the way, he was able to free Ace. And so things seemed like they were looking up, and then it was all taken away. It's different from the Sabaody moment, because with the Sabaody moment, he assumed they were dead, but he wasn't sure. With the Ace moment, he knew Ace was dead, and again, that was his brother that he spent a lot of time with, and now he was dead. He died in his arms, and part of it is because, again, of Luffy's weakness. That's why the time skip is at the perfect time, and everything he did in Ruskine and how strong he came out of the time skip, it makes sense because of how much pain he went through, how many times he went to hell and back, and he had to face and look in the eye of his own weakness. There are different instances in the story where, again, in Enies lobby, when Usopp told him this isn't hell, right, when he was fighting Rob Lucci, so get up. Luffy didn't experience this, but this was more so Zoro. When he was about to take his pain away, Kuma said to Zoro, I'll give you a glimpse of hell. So hell in One Piece is typically described as the worst experiences you've been through, and for Luffy, to him, he's been through it all. So fighting two monsters like Big Mom and Kaido, as daunting as it would seem for a lot of people, it doesn't compare to him. He knows what he's experienced, and he knows what he's ready for. So that line, again, I wanted to highlight it and make a video just around it because it's so epic, it's so Luffy, but it's also so One Piece, right? But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about Hell and Back? How many times, in your opinion, has Luffy been to Hell and Back? And rank them if you'd like. Just do whatever you want. Put it down below. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thanks to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Guys, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost.